What is up, everybody? Welcome to Calling All Bowlers, episode 27. It's your boy DGAB. Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. We are getting everything set up here. Waiting on our man of the hour, or guest of the hour, excuse me. How is everybody doing? What's up, Craig? How's it going? Not much, man. Just waiting on Mr. Dewayne to get in here. And we are going to get this show going. Hey, Chuck. Pickles. And there it is. Yes, busy day in the shop. Yes, sir. All right, there's our good friend. There's our good friend Dewayne. Let's get him in the chat here. We've got the invite sent. Dewayne.
What's going on?
How's you doing, sir?
All right.
I sent you the camera invite. You able to cut your camera on? There you are.
It is cool.
What's going on, fella?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, you know, just another long day in the pro shop. How about yourself?
I had a long day myself.
Dude, I'm telling you, like these Saturdays, I feel like they get longer and longer as we get closer to football. So, you know.
Don't prevent us from watching football one of these days.
That too. Well, what was you gonna say?
I said I don't want it to prevent me from watching football. Now that this came back around, been waiting all this time.
But you know, it seems like 2025 is kind of just like cruise controlled through the year, and here we are. We're already a couple weeks away from September. So, but let me go ahead and get through officially being able to say welcome everybody, calling all bowlers, episode 27. Yes, 27 episodes of calling all bowlers. And my good friend Dewayne Waddey Jr. is going to help me cross off and check off the state of Maryland. And is it safe to say, are you by chance a Ravens fan?
No.
No. Okay. Who's your team?
I'm a Vikings fan.
Okay. All right. Well, I wish my friend Michelle was in here because she's in Minnesota. I know she would really like that one.
Yeah. When I was younger, well, I was born in Alaska. My father was in the military, so we moved around a little bit. So somebody said sorry to hear that. Yeah, we never won a Super Bowl, so yeah, it's a tough being a Vikings fan. But we moved to North Carolina in the early '90s, right before the Panthers came. But there was this player that I liked, Randy Moss, who was, always on he was on my radar when he was in college, and I was a little guy, so we'll watch football. He used to be on TV. So when he went to the Vikings, that became my favorite team. So I've been a Vikings fan ever since.
Yeah, we have to say, Randy Moss, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. All right, so you're a Vikings fan. All right, so I know where to come back to when we get into talking about sports and such. Dewayne, tell everybody out there just a little bit about yourself, maybe throw in a couple things that we may not know about Dewayne.
So, I guess you say since it's bowling, I'll talk about bowling a little bit. But first and foremost, I'm a father of two. Been married for 10 years now? 9, 10? Either 9 or 10. One of them.
We're going to say 10 just to be safe, right?
Yeah, 9 or 10. I have two boys, Zane and Zamir. One is 6. The other is 10 months. It'll be 10 months next month, September. No, he's 10 months now. He'll be 11 months September 2nd. His birthday is October 2nd. So his first birthday is coming up. I am a Microsoft 365 admin for a nonprofit out here in the DMV area. So I started bowling off and on. I was 1 year. I lived in New Jersey for a little while, so I bowled for like a season, and then I moved to DC. Then I bowled for like a season, and then I stopped for a little while, and then recently I've been bowling. This is the start of my 4th year consecutively bowling. So I think I've gotten pretty good. My first couple of years, I was like 150, 160 average. My second year, I jumped up to like 199, 200. So now I'm shooting for about say 210, 215. So yeah, I did sports shot all summer. So I see it's a big difference from going from house to sport and then sport back to house. I was like, whoa. My first night in league Thursday night, I shot 688, which was like, it used to take me like 2-3 months to hit 700. Now I'm hitting 700 like, every 2 weeks. Like it's like it's like whoa. So it's like, yeah, I've been on that. So what else? I think I told you I play chess. Play chess a lot.
I'm gonna get into that because there's a couple things like on your questionnaire here. I've kind of set myself up with our format here that I would definitely wanted to ask you about in regards of that because chess actually intrigues me. I'm not a professional player by any means, but I do like the game, and I always like the quote when they say we're playing chess, not checkers. So
that's right. That's right.
Let me ask you. Take us a little bit more into what you do. You Microsoft 365. Tell me if I'm not pronouncing this right. Pharmacopoeia, is that correct?
Yeah, U.S. Pharmacopoeia. It's a like a drug type company, I guess you could say. They were founded in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
So they've been around for a long time. They were founded by like 11 or 12 senators, I believe it was. So they became before the FDA. So they kind of set the standard on, testing and all that type of stuff for the different types of drugs that are out there. And basically my job is to handle everything that's basically Microsoft related, handle issues. We're promoting some things, doing AI, bringing AI to the company a little bit now. So I've been learning a lot about that and teaching people how to do prompting and things of that nature. So I've been in technology practically my whole career.
Yeah.
Basically helping people get comfortable with technology. I guess I'm considered a knowledge manager, which basically is people. I call it people, process, technology. You have the people, you have their process, and you try to connect them to technology. So I help bridge the gap. And so I create like business solutions. I automate a lot of things. Stuff like that.
Okay. No, because I was reading it and I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to ask him about it because I want to know more about it. But way you explain that makes complete sense now. So that definitely, and that's what I always tell everybody. If you guys have questions, put them in the comments. We will get to them towards the end of the show. We'll do the Q&A like we always do on our episodes. But I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. And really, like I said, Dewayne, thank you for coming in here and giving us some of your time to talk a little bit of everything. So you're Alaska, North Carolina. Now you're in Waldorf. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, sir.
Maryland. So how long have you been in Maryland?
I've been in Maryland since 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013. I graduated college in 2010. I moved to New Jersey. I lived there for about 2 years, around Atlantic City area. I worked in Atlantic City area, but I lived closer to Philadelphia, still on the Jersey side, but closer to Philadelphia. So I used to get into battles with some of the Eagles fans because of the Eagles and Vikings.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I've heard stories, but they should be okay because they're coming off a Super Bowl, so they should be all right for a minute. If
that's a rough crowd up there, man. Let me tell you, the boys up there are serious. So yeah, that's a rough crowd up there. Then I moved to the DC DMV area. So I kind of been moving around this area a little bit. I met my wife in 20. Oh, I met my wife in 2016, so it has been 9 years. So it's going on 10 years. So yeah, this January will be 10 years. I see. I knew I figured it out, but yeah.
All right. No, hey, seems like you've made it pretty stable for yourself in the state of Maryland, so that's awesome to hear. Um, so we're gonna go. Let me go into this. So you play chess, movies, technology, a couple other things you got listed here. So let me ask you this: is bowling your primary or is it your secondary? As far as like
Bowling is primary right
primary.
now.
Okay.
It's taken over everything. It's been taking over everything.
How did that come to be? Like when was it? When did the light bulb go off and you're like, you know what? I really enjoy doing this. I got to keep on keeping on.
So I guess it was around my first year.
Hmm?
Well, my first year here in Maryland when I started bowling. I've always liked it. My father bowled when he was in the military, so he had a couple of trophies back in the day. I guess when they gave out trophies for whatever leagues and some of the things that he did. So I kind of just like took it up and see what I could do. My knees were bad. I couldn't play basketball anymore. Couldn't I did boxing for a little while. So it was just like I need an outlet. So I picked up a bowling ball. I used to go, I guess where what's it called, the midnight lights, where they
Oh,
have
you
the
know about
strobe
like
lights.
extreme bowling and
Yeah,
cosmic
the
bowling? Yeah.
Cosmos. Yeah. So I used to get like something to drink, and I used to bowl like 5 or 6 games, and I would literally teach myself how to taught myself how to hook the ball. And then I was trying to grow into the sport. Then I found a community, not necessarily a community, but I started watching YouTube videos of the pros and things like that. So I call myself a YouTube bowler because I never really had a coach, and I've just been learning just by watching people and going out and experimenting with different layouts, different balls, and certain that sort of thing.
Well, we'll dive into more of that, of course, as we get into the bowling part of here. But I definitely want to run back here and touch base on where did chess come from? Like uh, how good of an actual chess player are you, and where did that come from as you were growing up, or if you did it as a kid, or like when did when did that become a thing?
When I was a kid, my father taught me when I was, I want to say like second, third grade. I know I joined the chess club. I was pretty good. Never did any tournaments or anything like that. It was just always been um, something for analytical mind. Excuse me, analytical mind like myself. So I always used to play on the computer. He bought me like a little chessboard where you play the AI. So I used to just sit there hours playing, playing chess. I take the metro here to work, so I literally sit there on the train and just play chess for my whole ride from from my car to my job. Riding the metro and back, on the way home. So it's just been something I've always done. I've beat some champions. I beat a guy who was from Puerto Rico. He was a champion. He was like 16, but I met him when he was maybe like 21, 22, and he was an intern friend of mine, and we played together when we were interning, and I beat him, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was as good. Another guy I met just recently on my bowling team, he played, so we've been playing online. And I've beat him like four. He's beat me once, but I've beaten him like 4 or 5 times already. So he's like, he doesn't want to play me anymore. So yeah.
What's the quickest you've ever checkmated somebody?
Um, 4 moves.
4 moves?
4 moves.
How,
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
all right,
Yeah, 4 moves.
all right. Tell me the play. Tell me the play. What were those
Well, it
4 moves?
depends on how they play it. So this is how I know when I play somebody how good they are in chess because I always start off with this move just to see how good they are because if they don't know how to stop it, that's how I know you're not that good. You're not
You're a
that
novice.
good. So it's Moonfather taught me. So he take the pawn all the way out. I think it's E2, E4. You bring the bishop across. I think that's D. No, I can't remember. But you basically bring the bishop out. You pull out the pawn in front of the king, so it opens up the path for the bishop and the queen. So you pull the bishop out on one side and you throw the queen out on the other side, and then the queen comes down to the king, and it's checkmate.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Like I said, I know the moves. I know which who can go which, where, and how. I don't know the box numbers and everything, so that's why I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. The
How could
box
you
number.
checkmate somebody in 4 moves? Well, there you go, everybody. You have all. We are now know. We now know how to win chess in 4 moves. That's awesome. All right. So another thing that really stood out to me when I was looking over your questionnaire answers here, you said that if you had not became an engineer, you probably would have went to culinary school. Uh, what is it about? I mean, again, I like food. I'm a foodie. I don't necessarily cook all that often.
Same here.
Like, what what brought that on? Was it just like, is it the analytical mind, and it just something that you can break
Part
down
of
step
that.
by step?
Yeah, part of that, and so my father was. I lived in Germany for 3 years.
Okay.
So when I was in middle school, that was from like 1998 to 2001. So it was like a whole different experience coming over from America, living in Germany, on base. So we used to go out to the different restaurants, and I'm like, whoa, this food is like what? Like, are you serious? Like, we don't eat like this in America. Like, this is good. Like, it's more fresh. Like, I mean, I can still taste some of that stuff till this day. Like, that's how much I missed it. But I grew up watching the cooking channel. We used to watch, all those guys, Guy Ferrari, the dude that does with the science. He does the science with the food. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he does the science with the food, and it's always been, I went to what was it, home ec. In home ec, I was pretty good. We make the cookies. So my dad made cookies and pies and things like that. My mom did a lot of home cooked meals. So it's just always been something, that's been a part of my life. And, growing up, I started, I cook on weekends. My sons are not really big foodies right now. So it's a
Not
little
yet.
depressing.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet, but it's a little depressing. But yeah, I mean, I like to go out and try different types of food, Thai, Japanese. I do pancakes, cookies, pies, cakes. I mean, you name it. I've tried it. Probably tried it.
Go a little bit more into this cooking experience of the food in Germany. Like, what were you eating that made you go, wow, this is really good?
So one of the first things I ate was a schnitzel. So the schnitzel is the fried pork chop with onions and gravy, and like I was like, what is this? It's like I used to order that a lot. And then there was a guy across the street from where we lived at. He used to do wood fire mini pizzas. So they were like, at the time it was like 5 or 6 Deutschmarks. So if mom and dad didn't want to cook, they'll give us some Deutschmarks, and I'll go across the street and watch him, sit there and make the pizza, and he'll be watching, soccer or football, and soccer/football, but he'll be watching, soccer on there, and I used to just sit there and watch him make the pizzas, and it was just like, oh my goodness, like and then while we was in Germany, went to France. My mom's friend was in like a bodybuilding competition, so she invited us over. So we took the train over to France for like a weekend. And oh my, I mean, I was in middle school, but like, oh my, I used to eat.
Uh huh.
I mean, we used to just go out to eat, not only would I eat my food, I would eat my mom's leftovers and my brother's leftovers, like all there, and and I'm a skinny guy, so you would probably think like, "Ain't no way this dude can eat all this food." Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no,
So
no, no! I back when I was younger, I could put down some crystals. Like it made people like wide eyed about it. So no, I totally get it. So, but no, dude, that's a great experience. You said you were how long? How long were y'all over in Germany?
3 years, three
Hmm.
years. Yeah.
You ever see yourself going back?
I want to. I would want to. I would want to. I would want my sons to experience overseas. Because after coming back from overseas, it was like what's going on over here? Like America's not what we thought it.
Uh,
Like at that time, that's what to me is like America was kind of going downhill a little bit. As far as like education and certain things, like certain things I had learned over there, and coming back to high school, I was like, whoa, I'm way far ahead than what I could have imagined. So it was like, yeah, definitely a culture shock, both going over there and coming back. Because there's not a lot of black people over there, so that was a culture shock for them. So we used to go places and we get the stare downs and all that type of stuff. Like, what are they doing over here? And then coming back over to America, it was a culture shock for me. It was like, wow, what have y'all been doing here? Like, we've been learning. I've been learning not only our history over in Germany, but Germany's history. So yeah, it was just it was a lot to take in. Kind of put me in a different state of mind because I went to a high school where everybody grew up with everybody since they was like yay high. They basically came out the womb together. So it was like it was a different experience, hard for me to adjust. In those in moving around, coming back and forth, moving around that type of environment. So
of course, yes, yes. Okay. Well, dude, hey, playing chess, knowing how to cook, visiting Germany, getting the experience of a lifetime overseas. Dwayne, it just sounds like you've had a really really good fun ride so far, and
I've been blessed, man. I was really like looking back, like how people, even when I was in high school, a lot of them people didn't even go out to county. So like, it was, I've been blessed. I'm very grateful for the, experiences that I had, and hopefully one of these days when I get my stuff together, I could be able to pass that down on to my kid. I didn't join the military, but I refuse to do that. But but when they get a little older, I'll be able to hopefully, share some of the experience that, I had with them and, get them a little bit cultured. I think that's very, very huge, for, somebody
completely
nowadays.
agree. Completely agree, and the more knowledge, the better is what I always say. I've been working in the pro shop over 18 years, and I'm still learning stuff within the game itself. So yes, definitely never stop learning. Completely agree with that. If you're just now joining us, welcome in Calling All Bowlers, episode 27 with our good friend Dewayne Waddey. I do appreciate him taking time out of his day to join us and chat it up. We're getting ready to head right on in into what we all have in common as far as the TikTok world goes, and that is the state of bowling. So, Dwayne, I'm going to start it off for you. You're going into your fourth season. In your experience in the four seasons, okay, that you've talked about, where do you feel overall the state of bowling is?
I like bowling. Now, people are
Ah,
the people are something different. Like growing up, growing up in the '90s, so
mhm.
like it's a whole different, way different ball game than it is now. People talk about you behind your back. They'll see you doing good. They don't want to dap you up no more. Like the sportsmanship is horrible. So it's just like that part I'm not cool with, but the state of bowling, I'm fine. I mean, I understand that, some of these alleys and things might have to go to string pins because of money and things like that. And I don't trip. Even like the urethane thing that came up, a week or so ago.
Mhm.
Um, Urethane basically changed my game around because, I'd started off with resin and I had to, I'm a high rev type guy. So when I went to urethane, I was like, whoa, this, it helped me control the ball a lot more. So I had no problem with urethane, but a lot of people around me had problem with me throwing urethane. So like, I didn't learn that,
Gotcha.
up until like the end of my first year. So I was like, wow, these people don't talk to me because I throw urethane. So like, I'm winning pots because I'm throwing urethane on a house shot. So then now as I got old, a little bit more experience, I understand like, some of these people don't like it. So I took the next summer and learned how to throw, pearls, solids, hybrids, and stuff like that. I concentrated a little bit more on that, so I didn't have to, hear that, because I'm a quiet guy. So I don't, I go to the ball and I really don't say anything. I have my headphones in, I just try to, find my Zen mode and try to do the best I can. Like, but, try to win some money. That's always the goal is to win, a pot every now and then. Especially at tournaments. I mean, the last couple of tournaments I've cashed. I've been up there and probably like top 15.
Mhm.
So, I'm looking to, hopefully win one here, pretty soon. So, that's been the goal. But the overall state of bowling, I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't see any issue. It's just like everything else. Stuff evolves, stuff changes. And you gotta adapt. I mean, I grew up adapting. So if that's that what happens, then I just adapt. Like that's just what I do. So yeah.
Um, adapt. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's one of those things where it's evolved in the pro shop. So again, it's one of those things, especially like I said the urethane issue. Like what I feel like a lot of people don't understand is it's like the same things happened when reactive resin became a thing. A lot of people are like they ought to get rid of this. So it's just kind of like a vicious cycle tenfold over. With the whole urethane debate. Um, but hey, at the end of the day, another thing I always tell people is it's not the bowler's job to make another bowler's job any easier.
Right. That's part of the
So
game. You
yeah,
play defense, you play offense. Like that's part of every sport. That's part of every sport.
well, I got one question here, real quick. So the urethane ball, what ball do you use, sir? That's what Mike's wanting me
Well, the
to.
first ball I bought was the purple hammer. I mean, it was the first ball I bought, but the first urethane I threw was a purple hammer. So the first ball that I got was a ebonite cyclone. I think it was.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was the ebonite cyclone. I still don't have it. It was a 16 pounds.
Yeah,
I thought I was a big boy ahead throwing 16, and then like I'm down to 14. But yeah, one of my yeah. So yeah, purple hammer. I do now have the black pearl hammer. What is it called? The 78U or
yeah,
yeah.
Black Pearl
Oh
70.
yeah, I like that one. I've used both of those, the purple hammer and that one on the sports shot this summer. So um, to help control, the lane, a little bit. But yeah, yeah. So
Okay. So we got us we got us somebody in here that is all about the urethane, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just so everybody knows, nothing wrong with that. I like what Rich said here. He says go around the line with slow ball speed. That's my adjustment. So
yeah,
again, at the end of the day, it's not it's going to be debated for ages. I'm sure of it, but at the end of the day, hey, you got to learn how. I personally remember a friend of mine. We were going to league, and we had a couple. One was using a purple, another one was using a plastic ball. And I told my teammate, I said, "Hey, get ready. We're getting ready. I have to play around." I call it like playing around the trash, especially where they didn't really know like they could pit within a 3 or 4 board area, if you will. And I said, "We're gonna have to play around that." And I said, "It's just the way it's gonna be." So, but such is life. It's like you said, get you're good, adjust to it, and get better. That's my whole thing. So,
and that's throwing it. I see other people started throwing it, and I always look at the rack sometimes. When you start league, and I see other people throwing, and I've learned how to adjust when others have it on the lane too. So, like I said, it doesn't bother me either somebody throws it or they doesn't throw it. I mean, people are going to throw what they want to throw if they want to score. I mean, that's part of anything. You got the guys in basketball, football, especially basketball. They got their go-to move because they score. So that's their thing, and that's what you got to live with it.
Agreed. I completely agree. So you're starting your fourth season. You say you're going to be bowling in 2 leagues this fall and winter. Dewayne, tell us some of your goals for this season. What do you want to accomplish, or what do you hope to accomplish?
More consistency. Last year I bowled at 2 different centers, which I was like, I don't think I want to do that. Because it messed with my consistency a lot. I would be good at one center one week, and good at another center the other week, and like I would never have one week. It would be like one week out the month where I'm good at both centers at the same time. So this season I'm bowling in one center, so to help with me being consistent, because of what I did in the sport shot during the summer. So I think that'll be, that's my goal is to, being able to repeat shots. I want to do 210, 215. I was 205 last year. 204 last year. The second year I was like 199, 200. So I want to see a little bit more of a jump. I want to hit those, 6, 7, 8 strikes, a game. And I was able to do it my first night. So I was very, very pleased with how I performed the first night. So I just got 35 more weeks to go.
I despise 36-week leagues. I used to do it for so long. It's like now I'm like I refuse to. There's no reason why like 9 months should again. And this is somebody that's been doing it for 3.5 decades. So that's where that mindset comes from.
It's tough.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, you said here. Okay, I know you said I hate some of the social aspects of bowling. You like being able to go in there and do it. But let me ask you this: give us some examples or personal experiences of those social aspects that you've kind of been annoyed by, if you will.
One of my biggest pet peeves, I think, is shot clock. Some of these people need a shot clock, man. Like it's like they want to go up there, twirl the ball in their hand. They want to practice their swing, and I'm like, yeah, I understand, but like, we all just got off of work, and although we enjoy bowling, we also want to get home and relax a little bit so we can get back up the next day and do what we gotta do. And like you standing up there for 30, 45 seconds trying to figure out what you gonna do. It's like, yeah, like I said, people gonna do what they gotta do to do what they gotta do, but it's like, it's just a little pet peeve of mine. The next is sportsmanship, man. Like, I'm the type of guy that daps you up whether you strike, spare, split, 7-10, 5-7-10, whatever you do, I tell you to bounce back, I tell you to keep going, and if I do good, I see, they don't want to dap you up no more. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll walk around the table to avoid you now. So I'm like, man, it's okay. Like, you're going to be here next week. We're all going to come back next week. So like, what's the big thing?
No,
like, what's the big problem?
Like, it's one of those things where somebody makes a comment like, oh my God, I can't stand it, or I hate this place, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, all right, cool. We'll see you next week. And then there you go. See you next week, buddy. So I get it. I totally get that. All right. Great examples there, Dewayne. So, you're talking about, like, when I asked you about the state of bowling, let me ask you this. Where you're at in Maryland, do you feel it is thriving or is it struggling? And whichever one it is, why or why not?
I would say a little of both.
How so?
Struggling for me because most of the tournaments are house shot tournaments. And me not being as good of a bowler, kind of coming in, and I wanted to get tournament experience. My first couple of tournaments, I'm like, these guys are averaging 260 a tournament? Like, I'm scared, looking like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I'm going to compete with that. So, I'm a very, very competitive person. So I'm like, I'm going to compete with that. So, it's a lot of house shot tournaments, which, now that I'm getting better at house, I guess I don't, I'm not going to mind it, but like, I prefer, now that I've done sports shot, it's like, I won't want to do sports shot tournaments. Like, I understand like the challenge. I understand a lot more now when I watch the guys on TV, the pros do it. I'm like, wow, these guys are really, really that good now that I've actually, experienced what a sports shot, actually is. And I guess around this area, like it says, like people want to see their scores high, and it's like I'm here nor there about that. I've gone to tournaments, average 240, 250. It just so happened to be my day that time. But like at the same time, like I like a challenge. I'm always the one that wants to get better, and to do that, you have to challenge yourself. So you have to put yourself in uncomfortable, situations. So it's just like. I got a couple people I bowl with. One was in here earlier, but I got a couple people I bowl with, so they, they know, some days it's just not your day. It's just not your night. But I prefer the sport shot over the house shot tournaments. The atmosphere was another thing that woke me up because, like, I didn't bowl in college. I didn't bowl when I was younger. I'm starting it now as, somebody who's older, an adult in their 30s. So it's like, these people are loud. Like, I thought, you go to the tournament, it's like, nice and quiet and easy. Everybody, doing their thing. I'm like, no, these people are jumping up and down after every shot. They getting like 6, 7 high fives of people. They'll walk 3, 4 lanes when they strike, and I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy.
Another one of those culture shot things, right?
Another one of those culture shot things. Like whoa! I said, I don't see this on TV at all. These guys don't do this.
So you're basically saying too many house shot tournaments, not enough sports shot tournaments, and you wish you would see more sports shot tournaments.
I would like to see more sports shot because I think a couple of your lives you talked about. You do a couple of. I was like, man, I would love to go to this. So, I would show up every time because I would want to get, whether I cash or not, I would want to try, get that challenge to get better. Like,
all right, I'm going to ask you one question, then I'm going to follow it up with a little survey question I always do in some of these lives, okay? So what's your highest sanctioned game so far?
298.
298, okay. All right. Now, that follows me into this because this ties into that side pots versus high game. And what I usually ask is, and if you watch some of our podcasts, I've gotten a lot more of one answer. It's been more one-sided than anything. So, getting to it here, Dewayne, let me ask you this. Would you rather shoot competitively 160 and win yourself $100 in high game, or would you rather shoot a 300 game for the first time?
Probably the 160.
Why is that?
Because I challenged myself.
Okay.
I challenged myself, and everybody out here knows that everybody on these lanes knows that this was a challenge. This was a sport shot. And if I came out the highest in that versus shooting, like you said, I haven't even shot 300 yet. So, versus I'd rather come out 160 high game than to shoot my first 300.
Okay. So you'd rather take as many $100 high game pots as possible, shooting 150, 160, 170. Okay. Well, you know what? They the one-sided answer was not that one. So definitely refreshing because I'm in the same boat as you. And a lot of people's like, well, it's because you've shot 300. No, I want to win a Franklin. I'll take a. I like, as they say, I like the color green and pictures of dead presidents. So yes. But so But everybody, if you're just now joining us again, like I said, welcome. Calling All Bowlers, episode 27 with our good buddy Dewayne Waddey here. Really appreciate him coming on here. Yes, Craig, I completely agree. The first
I
300
agree
is
with that too.
memorable, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to get past that threshold. I feel it coming on for you this season, so I can't wait. I can't wait
That's
for
the
this
goal.
video. Cannot wait.
300, 800. 300, 800. That's the goal.
Agreed, Mike. I'd take the Benjamin too. Absolutely. All right, so we're getting ready. We're kind of getting into the. I like to call this the part of the winching hour of the episode. But let me ask you this, Dewayne: what is the biggest life lesson you've ever learned?
That was that's a quote from my father.
Mm-hmm.
You can either learn the easy way or you can learn the hard way.
Okay.
And that's something that has stuck with me. Is one of his famous quotes. He has quite a few of them. But that's one of his famous quotes. And growing up and even going out and experiencing the world on my own, you can see how people either want to learn it the easy way or they wanted to learn the hard way. And even in your own situation, that you got to make that decision on. Sometimes the hard way is just it's just what it is. You just don't know. You're coming in new. You got to experience it. Excuse me. You got to experience it. But for some people, things do come easy, and they may make it difficult or things like that. So I've made some stuff that was easy difficult, for myself because I needed to learn a lesson. But there's also things that that were difficult that came easy, and I was able to keep it easy and keep it simple and and grow into it. So that's one of the that's one of his infamous quotes that stuck with me as you see my whole life.
So when did he give you that advice? Like, how old were you?
I don't remember the first time. Probably when I was like little. I would probably say like 5, 6 years old.
Years
Oh,
old.
I know he said it for years. Like, and my father, he was in the military. So like I got to experience, discipline.
Yep.
A lot of those things that, growing up with a dad that was like that was like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I had it tough, but he made comfortable situations uncomfortable. Because you go out here in the world and nobody's going to give you anything. Like you come out here in this world, ain't nobody going to give you anything. You have to earn everything that you got out here. So I take that, when I go out here and do my thing for my family and things. So I take that seriously every day. I go out here and hopefully try to make a name for myself, and teach. Hopefully, when my boys get older, they'll see that, and they'll take on that challenge, and they'll get out in the world and be able to make a name for themselves and get them a family or whatever decision that they want to do, and that's we're gonna roll with the punches. Like,
Okay. All right. Dwayne, here's a good one for you. How do you want to be remembered by everyone? What is your legacy?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't even know how to answer that. How would I want to be remembered? I like to make people laugh. I always like to challenge people. I do challenge others like I challenge myself. Um, try to keep it 100 as much as possible. I give my authentic self a lot of times. 100% of the time, mostly. Like I said, I'm very reserved. So I keep a lot of thoughts, to myself. But, the people I do connect with, I do share, I share, what I see. They share what they see with me. And we, build our relationship and we grow from there. My wife, she challenges me, I try to challenge her and, that's how we grow. I mean, how I want to be remembered is, somebody who didn't take no junk, so, somebody kept it real, didn't take no junk, like to laugh, like to put a smile on people's faces. Just a just an easygoing guy. I guess that's how. Yeah, I guess that's how I answer that.
No, that's absolutely a wonderful answer. Um, do you have a favorite brand or a favorite bowling ball of all time?
Okay, so I just been trying out motive balls. I recently just tried motive out of everything, and I was like, oh, they're up there. Wow, they're. I mean, I've only thrown them probably like 7, 8 games, but they're up there. So my favorite bowling ball that I think I have is my High Road Pearl. My High Road Pearl was the one that I shot my 298 with. My highest series is a 747, I think, and I used a High Road Pearl. Um, my 298, I left the 310. I remember it till this day. I left the 310. So, as
Was
far
it
as
Case
brand, I've
Nurse?
been more attracted to Brunswick, Track,
Mhm.
um, GB5, definitely Hammer. I mean, other than the High Road Pearl, I guess you say my next favorite ball is the Envy Tour Solid. That's oh my god, I love that ball. And the third one would probably be GB5 Solid.
Mhm.
The fourth one would probably be Phase Two. And then the fifth one would probably be a Track Tempo, which is a green ball. And I bought it used. And
Remember
I've been trying to find that thing brand new, and I don't think I'll ever find it. But if I find it, I'm going to drop for it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to drop for it.
that? I
If I
knew
ever find that ball new, I'm going to drop for it. But it's a Track Tempo. It's a green ball that I like. I just recently tried out the Venom Shock and the what is it, the Max Thrill Hybrid, and I was like, wow, these balls are very, very consistent. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm so motive might start, being there, but I'm not really a brand guy. So now that I've tried everything, I was like, nah, I really like to look. That's why I watch the pros, because I want to see what balls they throw. The balls that they throwing are usually the balls that I should be buying, because they get results with those. So like, I'm an engineer, so I'm putting like two and two together. I'm not just gonna buy anything that they throw out there as far as advertisement. They be trying to get me at the pro shop and be like, no, 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 sir, I want this one. Like, they be trying to get me at the pro shop, but yeah, no, I'm not really a brand person, but I do have I do have, like I said, I mentioned my favorites, but yeah.
Okay, so you have, like I said, you have the engineer mind, okay? And I've got a really good friend who is the same way. He is what I call very robotic. He is
Yeah.
very like one connects to two, two connects to three with his bowling. And me, I am like the polar opposite. I am more simplified, and I've had to, if anything, it has helped me in the pro shop, being able to connect with different types of personalities. So, allow me to ask you, if you will, Dwayne, like what is your thought process when you go into a pro shop? You're looking at a bowling ball. Like, what's the thought process from the engineer's perspective?
Oh, if I'm going to pro shop, I already know what I want. There's no looking and seeing what's out there. I kind of know what's out there based on, what I see the pros throw. So for me, like the summertime releases, I kind of stay away from those, because them guys are not, because, they're not on TV. They're not bowling. So, I think the guy was trying to sell me a gremlin instead of an attention star. I wanted the attention star. He said, "Oh no, no, you should get the gremlin." I'm like, "Ain't nobody throwing the gremlin. They just advertising that right now. Ain't nobody. I ain't seen nobody with no tournament with no gremlin."
Well, I will tell you this though, the I've said this about both balls because I've drilled attention stars and I've drilled gremlins, and they are both very angular motion balls.
Yeah.
And but like I get let me try to let me because I mean it's good that you have an idea of what you want, because that's also another thing. Being a pro shop operator, If you have your mind already set on something, that simplifies the process on our end. But like, let's put it to you like, so take us through the mindset of like, okay, like I'm watching what I'm watching, but like, where does it click where it's like, I want that ball, and the why and the how behind you getting, picking out your next bowling ball.
Okay, so more recently, I've been trying to do arsenals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started, I guess you say, about a year or two ago. I was looking at a lot of guys building arsenals,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, and I wasn't very versed in it, but I would say, "Oh, this is a good 6 ball arsenal." So I was like, "Well, I got that ball. I got that ball. Let me get that ball," and and see. And I used to bring I used to bring 3 balls to league, and try to test them out. And this is where I go, experimenting and challenging myself at the same time. Now that I think I know a little bit more, I've mostly been trying to build like 1-2 punches. So my most recent, I guess you could say, I got about maybe 4, maybe 5 1-2 punches I have now. So my first one is phase 2 high road pearl. And then if I bring a third ball, it would be my IQ Tour Ruby, which I know I can throw right all the way left with that one. I can do that one with all 3 of them, but um, the one that I just built was the Venom Shock and the Motive, the Thrill Hybrid. I built that one. The other one I just did that I'm actually going to try out tomorrow is the Rockstar and Attention Star. I just got the Attention Star about 2 weeks ago. I've only thrown it once, so I have a league tomorrow afternoon, and so I'm going to try out the Rockstar Attention Star duo, and then I have my GB5 Solid and GB5 Pearl. That's my favorite. That's my tournament duo. That's my tournament duo. Those 2 are my tournament duo. My other tournament duo is Envy Tour Solid and then High Road Pearl. Like I said, High Road Pearl is going to be mostly, I bring that almost everywhere. Even if I don't throw it, that's like that's like my baby. So like,
Your safety net. I get it.
yeah.
Okay. All
Nothing
right.
else works. I'm pulling out my High Road Pearl or my IQ Tour Ruby. It's either one of those 2.
Okay. Well, if anybody here in the chat, if you're listening, if you've got any questions you want to ask Dewayne, now's the time to throw them into the chat. Dewayne, tell us and tell everybody out there, this is a chance to plug in every single place on social media that you are on. So fill us in on that, would you please, sir?
So, got a couple of things going, and I guess I'll take this opportunity to share it. So I have my own business. I have, obviously Waddey Bowling. I have Waddey Bowling on TikTok. I have Waddey Bowling on YouTube that I really haven't started yet. But I would like to start doing, league lives and things like that. I have YouTube, TikTok, and IG. Waddey Bowling on IG. Those are my 3 for Waddey Bowling. I also have a side business my own business that I've been slowly building up. It's called Waddey Tech. So I build websites. I've done business solutions for companies and things like that. So I've been kind of trying to get myself out there solo rather than, through a company. So Waddey Tech, I am on Facebook and I am on IG with Waddey Tech. So that's WADDEY and TECH. So those are my 2 that I've been slowly building. Like I said, I'm not really a social media guy, but I've been learning. Matter of fact, this TikTok thing has got me like really excited seeing all you guys even jumping in on a couple of your lives when I got to your page. And that kind of like started to make me feel, a little bit more comfortable throwing myself out there, a little bit. So I definitely appreciate the bowling community here on TikTok because it's definitely helped me, come out my shell here. Getting dark.
Dewayne, I tell you, that's it's kind of the same way I was. I just I just started posting, and making things, making things happen, and just not really, it's more like not focusing on the result, but focusing on the process more so than anything. And if anybody knows about process oriented, I've taken from this episode talking to you, it's you, my friend. And
Yeah, and that's what I got to learn sometimes is I got to take my own advice
yeah,
because, like I said, I'm not very social. Like, I love people. I can converse, we can talk, but I'm just not an outgoing, I'm not an outgoing person. If you was to see me at a bowling alley, I'd probably be sitting there with my headphones on, nodding my head, just trying to get my, trying to get myself.
I'm going to tell you, I did that one season back in 2021, 2022. Collectively, it was my best season. 5/8, 3 threes in that season. I didn't say much to anybody. I didn't react to a lot of things. And I'm telling you, it's one of those mental, just like parabolas, if you will, that people cannot wrap their head around people that don't react.
Yeah.
And like that is where it's like you're really result oriented. Like you're not focusing on the result, but you're more oriented towards it. So at the end of the day, it's not a bad mindset to have. And I actually try to encourage people, but it's kind of like what you said earlier. You've seen that going into the bowling center and bowling your leagues and the tournaments you've experienced. It's unreal how the camaraderie, if you will, takes place. And it can be kind of we've also used this word a lot here. This episode is culture shock. So,
yeah.
But no, dude, keep doing what you're doing. And again, there's numerous, the bowling community. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand this. I know we in the bowling community do. It seems like, we're really far away distance wise, but the community itself is a lot more close knit and a lot tighter than what anybody would actually ever think. Once they start venturing out and talking to people, like I said, like me being a pro shop operator, Craig 911 in here, he's a pro shop operator also, so you can check him out. DXB Pro Shop with Joel. I don't know if you've went into any of his lives. He's a pro shop operator. We got a lot of people. We're doing, like I said, we're doing podcasts, bowlers helping bowlers. Pickles, and he just popped in. Pickles, they do a podcast every Monday, and it's just the resources are absolutely incredible, and I think that's just one of the most awesome things that we have going collectively here in the bowling community here on TikTok, especially. So keep your eyes out for those. And again, one of the things about it is if there's something you're struggling, I always tell people. Especially, like I said, I help everybody. The subscribers kind of get my first dibs if they send me a video or something. If there's something I can ever help you with, Dwayne, please don't hesitate to reach out. And no, you guys heard it. Like again, I've enjoyed talking to Dewayne Waddey here on episode 27 of Calling All Bowlers. Like I said, we got a culinary expert, technological expert. Definitely got the right headspace, my friend, and I expect to hear more and more things about your bowling journey here on the TikTok as the season progresses, my friend.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, inviting me and having it. This is probably like the 1 or 2 times I've been on an actual, podcast. So I thought this would be, great, especially something that's not tech related, not my job related. So this was even more of a treat for me to, share my experience. So I definitely appreciate you, reaching out. I'm excited to rock your jersey when I get it. So,
hey man, it is it's on order. It is on order. So as soon as it comes in, like I said, it's usually 3 to 4 weeks, and I'll get that out to you, my friend. And like I said, I do appreciate your continued support. And before I call it an evening here for our episode, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am finally rocking the new T-shirt here. So I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to see how it's received. But if anybody is interested in this, send me a message. Let me know. I am working on hopefully putting up together a store that can kind of streamline things and get my catalog out there. So y'all stay tuned for that. But more important than not, like I said, Dwayne, everybody, give him a follow on here. Bowlers supporting bowlers. Uh, I appreciate you coming on and talking to you about your bowling story, about your life, and again, awesome stuff. And again, appreciate you so very much. And again, you got any questions? You send me a message, my friend.
Oh, I will, because I got one guy here I pretty much trust, my pro shop guy. His
Give him
son
a
is pretty
shout
good.
out. Give him a shout out. Who is
Oh,
it?
it's Tommy McLean. He runs TNT Pro Shop. It's out in Lord Calvert, Maryland. His son was recently in the Junior Gold U18. He was on TV the other day. His name is Chance McLean. Real two-hander, great guy, good bowler, great family. I appreciate them, a whole lot. They helped me, drill my balls, give me advice, and and all that type of stuff. You said, what nights do you bowl? I
Yeah, how
bowl
nice do you bowl, Dwayne? Or what do you
Sunday.
bowl?
This season, I'm doing 3: Sunday, Monday, and Thursday.
Are those competitive or
Yeah, they'd be all
all
competitive. And
competitive?
Saturday, my 6-year-old son, he bowls. So this is his 3rd year. So he's been bowling since he's been 4. So he's trying to follow in Dad's footsteps. So I'm excited to see him grow, in the sport too. So I'm gonna get him into some other sports, but this is the first one we got him into so far. So
You got him started early, my friend.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Well, all right, y'all. Like I said, Colorado Bowlers, episode 27. We are winding it down. I do want to let you guys know that next week we will have episode 28 where we'll be talking to Miss Sarah McFadden and also checking off the state of Colorado. And it will be the last Colorado Bowlers of the season because, again, as we talked about earlier, football is on the horizon. And
That's right.
boy here is a Bama boy. Y'all know that. So I'm going to be busy on Saturdays and freeing up my Sundays just so I can watch the pros just because it's football. So, yeah.
Who's your NFL team?
I know, Craig. Boo, boo, boo. I get it. Yeah. Hate me all you want. See, that's the thing about it. We still getting hate. We don't even have Saban anymore, and we still getting hate. I see.
Yeah,
it.
y'all are. Yeah.
Well, all right, y'all. Like I said, join us next week, same time. And again, thank you so much, Dwayne, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have a wonderful evening. And as our good friend Stephanie says, we will catch you all on the flippity flip. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening.